A just-released New York Times article reports on explosive details of a June Oval Office meeting about President Trump's aggressive immigration agenda. And I'm quoting now from how it's written out of the New York Times. Haiti had sent 15,000 people. And the president is being quoted here as saying they all have AIDS, he grumbled. 40,000 had come from Nigeria, Mr. Trump added. Once they had seen the United States, they would never, quote, go back to their huts in Africa.
The Post reports that according to two people briefed in the meeting, the president asked, quote, "Why are we having all these people from shithole countries come here?" referring to African countries and Haiti. The president then went on to talk about how they needed to bring in more people from places like Norway. Okay, react.
Out of exasperation or perhaps just a keen insight into the way the president thinks.
Listen, I'm sure the fact that countries he described as shitholes are mostly populated by people of color and the immigrants he wants from Norway are not is a coincidence, because if it wasn't, it would mean we voted for a racist.
This is not an isolated comment. The first thing he did when he started running was call Mexicans rapists. He has gone on to equate white supremacists in Charlottesville to the people protesting against them. He has called black athletes sons of bitches. He has feuded with the congresswoman who represents Little Haiti, Frederica Wilson. Last year at this time, he was feuding with civil rights icon John Lewis. This is not a coincidence. This is a pattern of behavior. We have a racist, a shameless racist who has hijacked the Republican Party, who has hijacked the Oval Office.
I'm a first-generation American, and my dad came from what I guess Trump would call a shithole, and that was a very rural and a very, very poor area, and a very poor family from Poland. And
I think we can call this the lowest day in the Trump presidency. I mean, he was clearly trying to overcome the bad press of this Michael Wolff book by showing, oh, he's in command. But in fact, what he did was fulfill every description of him in the Michael Wolff book.
Why are we having all these people from whole countries come here?
Wow. Sir, they're not whole countries. For one, Donald Trump isn't their president.
It just shows that, the president has racist views. I mean, how long do we have to dance around that issue? I mean, whether it's, rapists coming from Mexico, whether it's saying the first president of the African-American president of the United States was not born in the United States. I mean, he has racist views. And the worst thing is, that's part of his appeal.
Guys, I don't know how to break this to you, but I think the president might be racist.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. Hey, Mia Love, it's a good thing you got your job before Donald Trump became president, because he'd have sent you packing otherwise back to that shithole of a country you come from. You know, Haiti, where you come from, apparently that's where all the AIDS and all the disease comes from, too. And Donald Trump wants it sent back to that shithole of a place that you came from. And as a matter of fact, while we're at it, let's just throw everybody that has color on their body into the mix, too, because if you are a person of color, apparently you come from a shithole, and you should be replaced with nice blonde-haired, blue-eyed Norwegians that can do no wrong. We should bring more of them over and get more of the people of color out of here and send them back to the shitholes that they crawled out of. First of all, the people of Norway are doing just fine, thank you, because unlike the United States of America, the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth, they have a healthcare system that takes care of their people. Unlike the United States, the most richest and powerful nation on the face of the earth can't seem to get a healthcare plan that's adequate enough to cover all of Americans. And when President Obama did what no other sitting president could do in the history of this country was to get some healthcare legislation on the books, you want to take that away from people. Oh, and Mia Love, you and the rest of them House Negro, pathetic blacks who support a party that Donald Trump has made crystal clear does not support you, does not need you, does not want you, and wants you sent back to the shitholes that you come out of. You dumped all over President Obama when he was trying to do something positive. And what I can't stand is when black people attack other black people for no reason. Of course, a lot of you are going to say, but you attack black people too. But I do it for a reason. I don't do it simply because they're black. I do it because they're black and they're acting like morons. And I want you to stop acting like morons. You black Republicans, you just stick your heads up the asses of them white Republicans so much you could give them a tongue enema. You up there so much you could see what they had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So part of me doesn't care that he called Haiti a shithole because you done nothing for your Haitian people. You got out of Haiti, you married a white man, you moved up in Utah somewhere, and you're nothing more than a Negro bedwench that works undercover for the Republicans. Number 2, Norway ranks, if I'm not mistaken, Norway ranks number 7, somewhere around there, 7, 8, 9, somewhere. In terms of standard of living, it is one of the best places to live. So I don't think anybody from Norway wants to take you up on your offer, as opposed to the United States of America, the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. We breed criminals. We bleed crime. We are the most violent people on the face of this earth. Our jails are full of criminals. We are a gun crazy, gun toting nation that takes those guns and turns around and shoots up our babies, shoots up our senior citizens, mows down and kills people for no reason whatsoever. I don't think that Norway wants to leave number 7 to get all the way down to number 14, because that's where the United States ranks in terms of quality of living. We're about the 14th. I don't know if that should be considered as best or worst, but there's no way that the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth should be 14th when it comes to quality of living, and Norway sits atop number 7. And number 3, the most obvious one of all right now, is that Donald Trump is a racist. Okay, there's no other way to put it. Donald Trump has outed himself as a racist. Fake news didn't do it. The fake news media didn't do it. Even Twitter didn't do it. I don't think he didn't say this on Twitter. It was during a meeting. He was so frustrated with some of his plans not coming to fruition as far as immigration that he just blurted out in anger. And you know how it is when you're drunk, or when you are angry, or when you're drunk, angry, and old, or when you're drunk, angry, and old, and you have dementia. That's when the truth comes out. And the truth simply came out. Donald Trump is a racist. And somehow, through all of this, he still manages to blame Obama for something. Because of all of this, he canceled a trip, I believe it was to the UK, because nobody wants him there. Because now, any leader with any common sense knows if I stand shoulder to shoulder with this man, I am standing shoulder to shoulder with a racist. And what I'm telling everybody else is that I back this racist on his racist policies, on his feelings toward people of color. He thinks they're all people that come from shitholes. Now, Trump gave some lame excuse that the reason he was not going was because, according to him, Obama was part of some type of a real estate deal that sold a building on the cheap when it came to relocating a U.S. embassy or something like that. So because the real estate deal, in his words, was a botch, he wasn't going to go and cut the ribbon on a building. Now, how stupid does that sound? Now, like a lot of people, initially I bought into Donald Trump because I thought that he legitimately wanted to come in and shake up the political climate that so many people were dissatisfied with. He said that the system was full of swamp creatures and he wanted to drain the swamp. And all he did was fill the swamp up. He filled the swamp with his friends. He filled the swamp with his family. He filled the swamp with his cronies, his ties to Russia. He's doing business in Russia that he's trying to keep on the hush-hush. Everybody from Jeff Sessions to whoever was associated with Trump has been dealing under the table. They've been dealing dirty. And you people still, especially you white people out there who support Trump, you are the biggest suckers. In the United States, he has suckered you. And you still don't want to see it. And you still have members in the system that back this man. You still have people who are trying to stick up for him when you know he is a balls out racist as of now. His views on people of color have been well documented. He made no bones about how he feels about Africa, about Haiti, about everywhere else, that there are people of color. And here's what the GOP, well, we want to examine those remarks. What is there to examine? He said what he said, and you know where he stands right now. So if you stand by Donald Trump at this point, you are standing by a racist, which makes you a racist by proxy. At this point, if you are a supporter of Donald Trump, that just makes you stupid. It makes you absolutely stupid. This man has accomplished nothing in his first year as president. This man has thrown this country into nothing more than chaos and disorder. The United States is the biggest joke on the planet right now. We have an absolute moron in charge of this country. And you know it's true, the only reason he's been able to get away with this from his presidential run all the way up to now is because he's a white male. That's the only reason. Nobody else, black, Latino, Asian, Indian, Arab, nobody else would have been able, with the baggage that Donald Trump brought in, with a wife who was an illegal immigrant herself, who worked in this country, made money illegally, did not pay any taxes, and got nude pictures of herself grabbing her pussy all over the internet. If it were anybody else, you would not have come within 1,000 yards of any election. And it's only because Donald Trump is a white male that other white males co-signed on this mess. It wasn't the popular vote that got him elected. The Electoral College gave their delegates to this man because he's a white male, because they wanted a white male in position. They didn't want a female to become president. And the absolute irony of the Electoral College is that it is set up and designed to keep people like Donald Trump out of office. It's to keep tyrannists and keep just people who will throw this country into absolute turmoil from obtaining any type of power. See, white America, you got to make a decision. See, this really ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with Asians or Latinos or people of color. Those of us who come from shithole places. Ain't got nothing to do with us. You have to decide if this is going to be the future for your children's children, because this man is setting white America up to absolutely fail. There will be no future for white America. If people like this are going to continue to represent you, then you are in a shitload of trouble, white America. You don't see it right now, and you will probably have the luxury of not seeing it. It is your children's children who are going to inherit this baggage. While his children's children got rich off of suckering you, they are going to be living it up somewhere, laughing at you, dumb, white, trash, hick, ignorant hillbillies who put him in office, made him and his cronies rich, and are laughing at you. Now, President Obama said in a recent interview that he felt that social media was the cause for a lot of this, and that social media allows people to exist in their own little boxes as it is when it comes to certain issues. So if all you want to listen to is the Fox News channel and you want to believe everything that comes from Fox, you can do that. If you want to believe everything that comes from some internet show, some conspiracy show, something like that, then that audience will only believe what's being fed to them from that particular source. And I disagree with that somewhat. I don't disagree with the fact that misinformation, most of us thrive and most of us are exposed to more misinformation than factual information. But I think what social media has done, it has opened up the world to everybody's opinion. And you get a chance to see how people actually, truly, and honestly think about a lot of things. They get to troll people, they get to hide behind the wall, so to speak, and it gives them the security to express how they really feel. And I think that is way better than being in a situation where you don't have that option. So social media, to me, has done a great job. It's done a great job of exposing people like Donald Trump, because his Twitter habit absolutely exposed him. And now this current behavior has absolutely outed him, beyond the shadow of a doubt, to be a racist. We survived 1 year of this nonsense. 3 more years of this is absolutely ridiculous. Impeach this moron before he destroys this country. This is KTM and the Wake Up Report saying, think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.